Hi guys, today we're gonna go through what you need to know so that you can do the Turkish Get Up safely and effectively. Okay. For now, because you're just learning how to do the Turkish Get Up, I suggest you use a light kettlebell, maybe even a dumbbell, or without that, if you're working in a place with no bells, you can even use something that you can balance in your palm, even just like this box that pretty much weighs nothing, right? But if you're going to use something that's not weighted, please balance it on the palm, don't grip it, okay? Because you want some feedback whether you're losing balance, losing support over the weight or not, okay? So this is already a little bit, gives you a little bit of a leeway, so even if you're sort of losing balance one way or another, it's fine. Because we want you to develop a sense for whether if you are supporting something heavy that you can keep it balanced, or if the weight's going to fall in one direction or another. All right, so if you are using something without weight, even like a very light weight plate, okay, balance it on top of your palm without your fingers gripping onto the weight. Okay, so let's use this one. So for the Turkish Get Up, we have 8 positions that we're going to go through, from lying down to standing and going back to your starting position. Now each of these 8 positions, or what they're also known as columns, okay, are positions where you can rest the weight on the structure of your body, right? On the structure of your bones, basically. In these positions, as much as possible, you are not using your muscles to hold the weight up. You are just resting the weight on your bones, sinking all the way into the floor, right? And you are only using the muscles to maintain balance and maintain the position, right? If my hand is all the way up here, out there, my shoulder will be working hard to keep my arm up. If my shoulder is not working, then the weight will fall down. But if the weight is all the way through my wrist, all the way through my shoulder, all the way through my hip into the floor, okay, then the weight is not really loaded on my muscles necessarily. My muscles are only working to keep this shape, keep this column from my hip to my shoulder to my wrist, okay, so that the weight goes straight down. So in all of those 8 positions, from lying down to standing up, okay, we are working on getting used to using the structure of your body to take care of the weight, right? So let's go through the 8 positions. First position, from lying on the floor, okay? If you're using a dumbbell or something that's not a kettlebell, elbow on the floor and with your wrists right on top of the elbow, like this, okay? From here, keep your shoulder planted on the floor, and then you're gonna press the weight straight up, okay? Do not let your shoulder float up like this, okay? Keep it on the floor. This is number 1, the press. Number 2, you're going to put the same side foot close to your hips, a little bit outside, so that, and then opposite arm on the floor as well, so that you can push with the foot. That'll help you turn to your opposite shoulder all the way. Keep looking at your hand, keep looking at the weight, so that you can keep focus on maintaining balance. If you're not looking at the weight, then you have less proprioception, less awareness of where it is, and you'll have more risk of losing balance. So throughout the entire movement, maintain focus on the weight to help keep it balanced. So this is position number 2, turning to the opposite shoulder, right? Shoulder, far side shoulder, near side shoulder, elbow, wrist, as much as possible in one straight line. From here, we're gonna go into sort of pyramid, where you're going to push with your elbow, come up onto your elbow. Right here, it's not one straight line from the elbow to the hand anymore, but it's sort of more like a pyramid, okay, with your elbow on the floor on one side of the pyramid, your legs on the other side of the pyramid and the weight sort of somewhere there in the middle. From here, you're gonna come up to a full sit-up, right? Your hand maintaining a little bit of the weight, but most of the weight should now be on your hips, okay, as you sit all the way up. Eventually, okay, you can, if you want to, take away the weight of your hand. All of the weight goes through your hips. But actually, you're gonna keep your hand there behind your hips, because the next position after the sit-up will be your bridge. So you're gonna bring your hips all the way up as high as you can, right? Lining up both arms. So hand on the floor, both shoulders, other hand all the way up to your weight in one straight line as much as possible. Hips up as high as you can so that you have room to bring your knee under your hips. Okay, why? Because from your weight on your hand, you're going to transition, put weight on that knee so that you can come up to your lunging position. Okay, kneeling or lunging position. From here, we're going to simply make your way to a standing position. Okay, so that your foot forms one straight column as much as possible towards the weight. Alright? Now, I realize I didn't say the names. You don't really have to memorize the names, but you need to memorize the positions. This is your standing overhead position. From there, we're going to go into your lunge. From here, your feet are going to go close together. This leg's going to rotate. And then you're going to go into your kneeling windmill. From your kneeling windmill, you can adjust this leg if you want. You're going to go up to your bridge. From the bridge, you're going to sit down, sit your hips down. So this is your sit-up, okay, or sit down, I guess. And then from here, you're going to go to your elbow support. From the elbow, you're going to go to your opposite shoulder. And then you're going to lie down to your lying press, okay? So this is the press position or the lying down position. You're going to return to your starting position here, okay? Now, to show control over each position, I want you to be able to breathe at least one breath within each position. I'll show that with the 16 kilo bell with my opposite hand. Okay. Now with the bell, you don't have to stay in this position. You can start with the bell on top of your shoulders like this. Okay, so that the weight of the bell goes through my shoulders to the floor. Alright, so I'm not going to name or call out the numbers anymore. Okay, try to listen to how I breathe. Okay, I'm going to do one breath per position. You can do 2 breaths, maybe more than that is fine, but you're going to tire yourself out. So 1 to 2 breaths per position should be good to show that you have command and control over each position. Okay, from here. Keeping on looking at the bell, keep it balanced. Each repetition of the kettlebell should go back to your starting position. So if you're starting from a lying down position, you stand all the way up and go back down to your starting position. Or if you're starting from a standing position, one full Turkish get up goes to the floor and goes back up to a standing position. So a few things that you want to remember the entire time you're doing your Turkish get up. Number 1, of course, if you're holding a bell, you want a proper handle, proper insertion of your hand in the grip of the bell. So from your elbow to your fingers should be one straight line. You don't want this zigzag happening, because this might put some pressure, undue pressure on your wrist. So you want to adjust the bell and maintain this position where your wrist stays straight. Okay? From this angle, you should see the handle of the bell diagonal. Not like this, because if it's horizontal like this, it will very easily turn your wrist like that. So handle at a diagonal angle so that your wrist stays straight. That's for your hand, okay? And of course, the entire time, just like what I said towards the start, you want to keep eyeballing your hand, keep eyeballing the bell, so that you maintain focus and balance on it the entire time. Okay? If you especially if you change the orientation of the body, it'll be very easy for you to lose sense of where the bell is in space. You'll lose proprioception, so you'll have a hard time balancing it. So keeping your eyes on the bell or on your hand will help you stabilize it. And then one more, you want to keep your elbow locked and straight the entire time, pushing the bell up the entire time. The moment your elbow starts to bend and it's heavy bell, you risk crashing the bell straight onto your body. If you do lose balance over the bell, at the very least, keeping your elbows straight lets you just drop the bell away from you, at an arm's length away from you, okay, so that it doesn't crash on top of your body. Okay, just a little bit of a safety precaution there. Of course, keeping the elbows straight. Also, make sure that you use the structure of your elbow to support the weight and not have to rely on the muscles. All right, so the muscle there ideally should just work on maintaining the structure and not to actually actively support the weight of the bell. If you have any questions, just message me here or wherever we're talking. Train hard and enjoy.